Hey everyone, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got the 2020 Toyota Corolla. We've got an XSE sedan automatic model right outside. We're going to take a look at some of the specs and features here at the computer, go out, take it for a test drive, and talk about my impressions at the end. Alright, so here on Toyota's website, let's go down cars. You notice they default to crossovers and SUVs now because that's what everyone's buying. Let's check out the Corolla. So starting here, this price is actually before destination. So if you want to see the real price, throw in your zip code, and we've got, choose a base L model here, go straight to summary. We're getting $20,555. Now, with Toyotas, you're a little less likely to see as many discounts and financing deals and things like that as some of the other brands. So this is kind of the base price that you're going to be looking at. But a lot of people are buying used, and on the used market, they hold their value really well. So that's something to consider. Let's go back and check out the models here. You've got L, LE, Hybrid LE, SE, SE 6-speed manual, XLE, and XSE, which is the model we've got. So let's start by checking out the top level XSE here. Engines, you've got a 2-liter 4-cylinder. It's naturally aspirated, hooked up to a continuously variable transmission. Pretty much that's par for the course. Standard in the class, no big surprises here. Let's bring up a specs page here. Oops. Right there, we want Corolla specs. So for those of you who care about the nitty-gritty details, so there's a 1.8-liter 4-cylinder that makes 139 horsepower and 126 pound-feet of torque. And then there's the one we have that's a 2-liter, 169 horse and 151 pound-feet of torque. Now I actually don't have familiarity with the 1.8-liter. I imagine being 140 horsepower, you're going to be pushing it pretty hard in your day-to-day, getting up to speed on the highway, for example, or getting into a passing situation. But with the transmission kind of optimizing the power and city driving, you should have no problems. All right, what else? Like I said, you can get a manual, but most of them come with the CVT automatic. Warranty, with Toyota, you are getting just a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty for everything. Powertrain, 5 years, 60,000 miles. You can see the other ones there. You also get some complimentary standard maintenance included with Toyota. So that's kind of a nice perk. Even though it's not a lot of money, still nice to have. MPGs, fuel economy. Let's change models here over to, actually let's swap out this one. Now the hybrid right here, quick pause. Look at that, over 50 miles to the gallon. I would never buy a Prius knowing that the hybrid Corolla exists. I think it looks better, I think it drives better, I think it's a more desirable layout, and you get over 50 miles to the gallon. Anyway, let's swap that out for the XSE. So the one we've got, we're looking at 31 city, 38 highway, 34 combined. Average for the class sort of numbers there. With the manual, you're going to see a little bit of a fuel economy hit. Although, yep, fuel economy hit all the way around. And then this XLE 4-cylinder, the smaller one, the 1.8 liter, actually, it's predicting you're going to get lower fuel economy. So that's pretty interesting. Oh, probably because of the wheels and stuff. If we were to go with a base L, 1.8, 30, 38, 33, still a little bit lower. Wonder why that is. Okay, so building this XSE here, got quite a few different color options as long as you like grayscale or blue. Where's the red? Where's the uniqueness? I'm gonna go with, I actually kind of like this, what is this called? Blueprint. I'm going with Blueprint. Oh, and in interior colors, you can get a blue and black or just all black. Yeah, give me the blue and black, it's kind of cool. XXE XLE connectivity package, what's that getting you? Premium audio with navigation, JBL 9-speaker sound system with subwoofer. I actually haven't listened to the sound system yet, but I'm going to be doing a sound system test for this car, so if that's something that interests you, check out our channel. We'll get that up here soon. What else? A bunch of features in the infotainment there, Wi-Fi, hotspot. I don't need any of that, so I'm sure this sound system, the JBL, probably sounds pretty good over the standard system. What does the standard system have for speakers? Interior. Where is that going to be? Multimedia. 6 speakers actually. That might not be too bad. So, but you know, if it's kind of a toss-up. If audio is really important to you, then you can consider hopping up to that JBL 9-speaker. Toyota does a pretty good job with their sound systems. It does also get you wireless device charging. So $1,700, I'm kind of in the middle on that one. I'm going to go without it for now. This one gets you a little advanced lighting and some ambient lighting. I do care about good lighting though, so I would probably heck with it. If I'm going all the way up here to the XLE and XSE, let's toss in this good lighting and the wireless charging and everything. Then after that, you're just looking at kind of your standard accessories, floor mats and roof racks, things like that. You can get a TRD air filter and air intake. What does that do for you? Details, what do they tell you? Track and durability tested according to stringent Toyota Racing Development Performance Standards. High flow air filter. Increase horsepower and torque for superior acceleration. I don't wonder how much horsepower that's actually supposed to give you. And you can just get the air filter as well for superb filtration and enhanced airflow. Okay, Toyota. All in, we're looking at almost $30,000 for this fully loaded Corolla, though. If you were to toss in a few options, you would be looking over, or sorry, a few accessories, you'd be looking over 30 grand. That's quite a bit when you can get a very well-equipped Corolla or Nissan Sentra or Honda Civic or Mazda 3 or even Volkswagen Golf for much lower than that. So something to consider. Real quick, let's build out a more basic, something like an SE here. So compare them real quick. Let's compare an SE to this XSE that we've got. So there's a lot of things to parse through here, but we're still getting the 18-inch wheels. We are just a little bit different appearance stuff, but not much. Let's go down to convenience. Premium sport seat with sport fabric rather than the Softex fake leather that they have. Still getting automatic climate control, optional sunroof, optional push button start, so that's important. And when you grab the handles outside, walking up to it and keep the key in your pocket, you can get blind spot monitor on the SE, but it looks like you got standard blind spot monitoring on the XSE. Adaptive front lighting is optional. I don't know, guys, if I'm looking in this class, I'm probably trying to keep it pretty affordable. So I'm looking at probably this SE model. Still get the 2-liter, stronger engine, and you can get red. Look at that. So I'd still probably stick with the blueprint, but just for kicks and giggles, let's keep on the red. Then you got to go with a light gray fabric. What does the premium package get you? Blind spot monitoring, smart key system. I'm going to toss that in. What does the premium package get you? Premium package gets you a USB port and the touch screen, blind spot monitoring. Nope, we're keeping it simple here, guys. We're doing $1,500 for that. And all in now with this SE, we're looking at $5,000, about $4,000 less. So when you're talking this class, I'm probably going with the SE. Quick look at the window sticker here for the car we've got. You've got your premium audio, like I talked about, and the adaptive front lighting system, and paying $250 for some carpeted floor mats. All in out the door, you're looking $28,794. All right, let's go get behind the wheel, take a look around the car, and see how it drives. All right, out here with the 2020 Toyota Corolla, and I do not know what is going on with this weather, but it's like 45 degrees right now, and it's snowing. It was just sunny, you can see over there. And now it's going to snow for probably 5 minutes and then be back to sunny. Good old Michigan. But we're out here and it shouldn't be any sort of difficulty for the Corolla to deal with a little bit of snow. This is the XSE model, so it's a little bit sporty. It's got all the nice interior accoutrement that can come on a Corolla. Let's take a look in the trunk here. I do think the styling's pretty good for this Corolla. I like it a lot better than the previous generation, especially the facelifted version of the previous gen. Was not feeling that Corolla much. This one I actually quite like. Trunk's a nice flat floor, some good carpeting here. Ooh, sorry for this wind, guys. Like I said, it was unexpected. Oh no, it's off in the back. Ugh. All right. Camera's getting knocked around, microphone's coming out. It's the apocalypse out here, baby. Okay. So speaking of which, nice key on the Corolla. You can see it even says Corolla on it. Hopefully the light's reflecting in the right way, but nice simple key, does the job. Back here is a little tight, 5'10". A little tight on the foot room, although that seat, driver's seat is all the way down. If you lift it up a bit, it might have a little bit more. Legroom's actually pretty decent. But the way my back is reclined is pretty steep. It's pretty upright, and my head's just about touching the ceiling. So I wouldn't want to be here for an incredibly long amount of time, but it's about standard for a compact vehicle. You do have a nice center armrest here that kind of just flops down. Hard bottom on the cup holders. Some nice kind of sporty looking, it's like a, I guess it's like a plasticky cloth-ish material here, and then probably a fake leather that feels pretty decent right here with some cool blue stitching. Headliner, kind of cheap feeling, but par for the course, par for the class. All right, nothing really else back here. No power ports. Looks like you got bottle holders in the doors. Not very deep though, but nice places, nice materials. Not so bad. Up here in the front. Side note, I like these wheels. They look good, nicely sized. The Corolla actually rides quite well, despite I think these are 18-inch wheels on this model. Okay, coming on up front here. What do you got? You got a nice looking cockpit. You do have kind of a slapped tablet style. Look at that, you can even wiggle it a bit. Infotainment display there. But a nice, well laid out, easy to use HVAC control center. I like that. Nice materials. The wheel feels good. I think this is actually leather on the wheel, whereas the seats are like a fake plasticky leather. Nice soft materials all around here. Up here, gonna kind of deaden some of the noise from the windshield, absorb it. That's nice. And this armrest slides back and forth. Inside you got a moderate amount of space and kind of a flimsy little piece of carpeting that covers up some really intense bolts right there. All right, what else you got? You got 12 volt and a 2.1 amp USB port. That's nice to see. Standard glove box, pretty good size actually. Wireless phone charging, that's nice up there. Heated seats, 2-stage. Sport button, traction control, standard shifter that takes up a decent amount of space here, but works nicely. Electronic parking brake, hard cup holders, and that's about it. All right, let's fire it up. Nice little gauge animation there. So you've got an all digital center display, and then an analog gauge for your tachometer on the left, fuel top right, temperature bottom right. And one of my first complaints about the car is there's no way to bring up a digital speedometer. So even though you've got all these different displays, you got average fuel economy, directions, adaptive cruise control and safety features, audio, tripometer, and different settings menus and messages and everything, no digital speed display. So that's a little disappointing. Infotainment system works pretty well. We've got audio here. Store off a little AM.
For jobless benefits over
You can switch between sources. It's fairly responsive. Not as good as maybe like the Chevy system or Uconnect or something like that from FCA, but it's not the worst system either. You've got a pretty decent map. Flows nicely. You can do pinch to zoom. Graphics are a little bit dated, but works all right. And then, like I said, super easy and straightforward to use single climate control here, or single zone, I should say. You got auto, max the fan, quick and easy. Pretty quiet fan, actually. Even down when you're on like level 1, you can barely hear it. I really appreciate that. And you got all your other settings right here. Pop that off for you. Let's hit the road. Steering is nice and light. I've driven the Corolla back to back with some of its competition, like the Golf and the Civic and the Mazda 3. And the Corolla's sort of characterized by being soft. Some people like it soft, some people prefer a little bit more of an engaging driving experience, but Toyota understands that a lot of its customers, people who are buying Corollas, want a very safe, reliable, no-nonsense, daily commuter sort of vehicle that's going to last them decades with nothing but oil changes and routine maintenance and just going to get the job done. And in that, they built a really great product. The Corolla is an established name in the field for that reason. So definitely a little bit loud on full throttle. A little bit drony with the continuously variable transmission. The chassis is actually pretty good. It's just the steering that sort of numbs it out a bit. It's kind of a vague, almost like you're steering through an oil. Oh, and it's mad at me that I'm going up to the line there. Let's put it into sport and manual mode here and throw it through the roundabout. So by nature of being a smaller vehicle, it's actually quite capable. You can do highway on-ramps quite quickly. You hear those tires start squealing at a really... when you got a long time before your limit. Look, it's sunny now. But it just doesn't engage and sort of encourage you to drive spiritedly the way some of its competition does. For example, the new Sentra does a really good job at handling the daily driving aspects, the ride and steering around the town and everything like that, but then it's also actually surprisingly engaging out on back roads. So even with traction control on, it allows me to have a little bit of fun. And it's absorbing these bumps really, really well. I'm honestly impressed for the price of this vehicle and the class. It's taking the little bumps, the big bumps, all of them, filtering them out quite well. I can only imagine what it would be like with the 15-inch wheels on one of the lower trims. Come around here and do a little 60 to 0 and 0 to 60. Let the transmission settle down. Hold it at 60 and brakes. That is really fast. That just felt very confident, very quick, slowed down right away. Nothing I needed to do. Car didn't freak out. Very good. I'm going to hold the traction control button, turn both traction control and... oh, I'm actually going to have to come to a stop for this. I'm going to turn traction control and stability control off. There we go. VSC stands for Vehicle Stability Control. Sport mode. And then just a little tiny bit of torque for the CVT, and then full throttle. So you can hear that the CVT is doing kind of some animated shifts, make it feel like more of a normal transmission, even though it's not. Let's actually keep it in sport mode here. Take this 90-degree corner. Wow, even with stability and traction control off, it still cut the power on me a little bit there as I was getting onto it out of that corner. So, you know, the Corolla's, it's a no-nonsense type of car. It doesn't want you to have too much fun. They want you to buy a Supra for that. Traction control off so I can set the cruise. And here's the car at 70 miles per hour. It's a little bit windy today, so you're not going to get the best representation of how this car sounds at 70. But the ride's very smooth. However, there is a good amount of both road and wind noise. The engine's pretty much non-existent. But it's relatively par for the class. No big surprises here. These do not extend, but they have these stinky little extender parts on them, which I always think are silly because they allow for a pretty large gap. I'd rather the whole thing just move out. This car does have adaptive cruise control. It works pretty decently. When I come up onto a vehicle, it slows down. If I change lanes, it speeds back up. The Corolla definitely is comfortable. It'd be a pretty good daily driver, highway type cruiser. It's definitely has a few of those electrical type nannies. Oh, and there's an older Corolla. Did not care for that styling there. Let's hit the speed bump up here at 20 miles per hour. Takes it quite well. I'm really impressed with the suspension and the ride quality on the Corolla, as well as the chassis and just kind of overall comfort. I'm not really surprised. Actually, let's head down this way. I'm not really surprised that it's not as fun and engaging as it is other vehicles. Like I said, I've driven this car before, both in hatchback and sedan form like this one. I've driven the hybrid, driven the manual, and they're all really good. They're all really competent, but you're not going to find any surprises in them. You're not going to get in and be like, oh wow, this car is really fun and engaging. It's like it's just going to get the job done, and no big surprises there. All right, let's get out, take one more look, and then we'll head back to the office and give you my final wrap-up impressions. Okay, so to wrap some things up here, let's take a look at some of its competitors. I'm taking a look at US News' list here. This is just compact cars, so we're gonna ignore the GTI. It's a little bit more sporty, but we can talk about the Golf in general. Got the Honda Civic, Mazda 3, Kia Forte, there's that Volkswagen Golf, Hyundai Veloster, Elantra, Corolla, Jetta, Impreza, WRX, and Sentra. So, the only car that I really disagree with here on this list, I wouldn't put the Sentra this low. I think the powertrain and handling is actually quite good. Suspension's pretty darn good. And the value is really there. I mean, look at some of these base prices. You're a fully loaded Sentra, you're looking up around $23,000. Some of these other vehicles, look, you can get a Jetta up toward above 30. Corolla we saw you can get up above 30. Even the Elantra is a little bit pricier, Veloster, especially getting into the Volkswagens and stuff. So I would actually consider the Nissan Sentra, especially if you're not looking to own this car for 100, 200,000 miles and 10 years or so. If you're just looking for a car for 5 years, you're buying it new, definitely take a look at the Sentra. I think it looks great. It's got a lot of great features and it's comfortable. Other competition to the Corolla, I like the Corolla better than the Jetta. The Jetta is really quite plain right now. Not really anything. I mean, I think the styling's bland. I think the driving's bland. I think the motor's pretty bland. Nothing jumps out about the Jetta. Same with the new Elantra. We're talking the 2020 model, not the new 2021 that's coming out sometime this year. It's good, and you got a long warranty, and you can probably find them discounted pretty well at dealers. It'd be a toss-up for me. I'd give the nod to the Corolla because of reliability. Perceived reliability, I should say. I take that back. The Elantra is incredibly reliable as well. One of them, the 2013 model, went over 1 million miles. But, I mean, you can't beat the Toyota Corolla. The Golf, even though it's getting kind of old, the new one, Mark 8, is coming out here for 2021. Up in the air whether we'll get the standard Golf or not. But still, even the previous Golf is very refined. The engine's a little soft. It's not going to be quite as powerful as the Corolla. And you do have some kind of a little bit more questionable reliability than the Toyota. But the chassis is really good. It's very refined. It's a mature layout inside. So I would give a slight nod to the Golf. The Forte's slightly better than the Elantra. I think I like the looks a little bit better. That one would be up in the air for me as well with the Corolla. You could probably get a much cheaper Kia Forte than Toyota Corolla, but if I were buying one to own for a while, I'd still probably give the nod to the Toyota. And then when we're talking these top two right here, Civic and Mazda 3, my money's going with one of these two. The Mazda 3 is incredibly good looking, inside and out. Materials are top notch. It's a little bit more muted driving than the previous Mazda 3, but it still drives better than the Corolla. And I'd be willing to toss up a little bit of first year or second year reliability jitters for just the supreme niceness of the infotainment, the audio system, the interior materials, everything about the Mazda 3 is great. And then same goes for the Civic. You've got awesome Honda reliability, great fuel economy, 2 great engine options, one of them with a turbo, and are they both turbocharged? I think one's still naturally aspirated. You can get a great manual transmission with the Civic, you can get a hatchback, standard sedan, you can get a coupe, you can get the SI, just so many different options with the Civic. I think the facelift looks really great, the prices are good. So my money's definitely going with one of these two or the Nissan Sentra for the compact class. But if you're going to own a car for a really long time, you just want really good daily drivability, no frills, you're not really going out on enthusiastic sort of weekend drives with it, the Corolla is a really good option. It's going to be safe, reliable, pretty good fuel economy, and I know I keep saying it, but no big surprises. It's going to be a Corolla, the same as Corollas have been for 25, 30 years at this point. One last thing I do want to say is the only car accident I've ever gotten in was in a Toyota Corolla hatchback. It was the new one right now, so it looks exactly the same in the front, but it's got this cool electric blue color, and then the hatchback, and it was manual as well. And I was going about 55 miles per hour, 50, 55 range, and a big 6-point deer ran out in front of me. And it was me and a passenger, and there was just nothing you could do. It was like driving along, and then boom, deer was out in front. I barely even had time to brake, and we just slammed into the deer at 50 miles per hour. The driver's, passengers, and driver's knee airbags all went off, and the car came to a stop. It automatically called 911 right on the vehicle. I think it might have called Toyota's emergency systems first, and they said, hey, since you've had an accident, is everyone okay? We're like, yeah. And they're like, do you need like police or whatever? And I was like, yeah, no ambulance, but please send the police. And they called them everything right there, and we didn't have to do anything. I mean, I was still kind of getting my wits about me, checking on my passenger, undoing my seatbelt and everything. The car was deemed totaled. It was completely destroyed, as you can see here from these photos, all the way up above, like around the window or windshield, and crumpled around us. But we were able to perfectly open the doors, step right out, no injuries, and we're totally fine. The deer didn't make it. It was a tough hit for it. But so I do have to say that Toyota really stands behind their safety, even in these small economy type cars like this. So that's definitely a nod to the Corolla as well. So I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you're able to get a pretty good opinion for the new Corolla. If you did like it, please hit that subscribe button. Check out our other videos. Let me know if there are any cars you'd like to see. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and we'll see you on the next one. Drive on.